Hello everyone, welcome to VRP Racing Project, Season 5, Round 3. We're at Silverstone, joined today by Charlie in the combox.
Hello. I've actually managed to join it properly. Good to see him get used to the game.
We missed all the first laps, so sorry about that.
Currently have a British top 5, I believe, at the British Grand Prix.
So, Choco about to start a lap. Charlie, take us on a lap.
As he now goes into turn 1, full throttle through here, avoid the bump on the left hand side, clip the curb into the next left, and now late braking into turn 3, touch the curb, you want to drift out wide and get right back onto the right hand side, through the loop, carry a good minimum speed and get that on throttle on early. Onto the Wellington straight now, open the DRS wide open, he's going to get a bit of a tow from the kickstyle, but he decides not to use it. And now into the Brooklyn section, long left-hander, late apex, and then you want to loop round into Luffield, take a wide line and cut straight back into the track on the run down to Copse, get a maximum speed as possible, overtake open, no DRS down this straight, formerly of the start-finish straight, chuck it into Copse, no lifting, only a gear down to 7th for Chocolat, keep it well within track limits, and now chucks the car into Maggots, Beckett's, and now into Chapel with the final part. Going wants to get a good exit here, keep it within the white lines, and into the hanger straight now. Not much ARS left for Chocolat, but it's looked like a pretty clean lap for now. Chucks it into Stowe, down to 5th. All over the curves, a bit too much curve, you want to be braking a bit later there. We're now late braking into the club chicane, down to 3rd, keep the traction steady. Clip the curb again, run it wide, and now get on full power to the line for a 27.3 to take Chocolat to P5. Lightning Luke is now also on a lap time. The former race winner of the last round, a 10th down on his best time. Through the Luffield section, planting the throttle early, getting that overtake on, the run down to Copse. Half the cars are on track now for their second runs, including TTV Harrison, who is looking to get his first ever pole position in Virtual Racing Project. A clean line from Luke. And now he's going to get the tow. The V-carb's working together well. He's half a tenth up. Going onto the hanger straight. A good tow from Omar. And he chucks the car into Stowe. Braking a bit later, as I said, that Chocolat didn't. Takes a late apex and gets the power on early. Down into the club chicane. Bit of a lock on the front left, but overall just about meets his apex. And it's a late burst to the line to put Lightning Luke into P2 only 500ths off of TTV Harrison, but he's going to keep going because his teammate now is on a lap and he's going to be on to give him a tow down the Wellington straight. Harrison also on a lap as well. He is improving on his time. As well as Omar now getting his tow. 500ths up, going through the sector 1 line, chucking the car through the Luffield section, getting the power on nice and early, not running out as far as the white line allows, but Still a good run into Cops now, uses the overtake button. Up into 8th, he sticks in 8th. Bit of understeer. Maybe the 7th would have allowed a bit better turn in there. 1, 2, and 3 for the next left-hander, and then it's a late, harder braking zone through Chapel, and he's gone off. His line is still valid though, but he is down by a 10th. TTV Harrison to cross the line now on his second run, looking to reaffirm his pole position, and he does by 2/10 of a second over Lightning Luke. Bino in third in the pit lane, looking to only do 2 runs and save a set for the race. Omar spins Chocolade on a lap as well, as we watch Fredersen going slowly after completing his lap, which puts him 2.4 seconds off the pace, but only 9 thousandths off Timbed. Fredersen's teammate VRP is 8/10 up. This could be a very good lap to get him into the top 10 potentially, and it gets him 11th, only 600ths off of the top 10. Omar looking, he is on his in lap now. Chocolade on in lap as well. Baxi not improving. Robin not improving. And I believe that is it for the second runs. On this grid today we have 15 drivers, all of whom are going into the pit lane now, apart from Hazard Time, who is on a hot lap. He was 8/10 down through the first sector, but he's the only man on track, so he can't blame any dirty air for this lap. And he's had a big moment through Chapel. He's now 2 seconds down, and I presume he is going to be entering the pit lane with 3 minutes 48 left. Everyone probably trying to get another lap in for the session. And we have a returning face in the likes of Timbed. Completed the first couple seasons here at VRP before taking a little break, and he's now back ready to go in his former Alpine drive, which he has now got back. And as Hazard Time comes into the pit lane, we see other cars exiting, and those cars are Adam Lindberg and Yannick Wheel, and we also see the Ferrari of VRP exiting. Yannick, as we can see, is warming up his tyres. Tyre warm-up is something that the drivers have been struggling on in this game. The only way of warming them is driving fast, but you don't want to drive too fast because you may wear your tyres out. And now we see a lot more cars exiting the pit lane. Another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exiting as we speak. The V-carbs coming out in sync once again. But the first person to be starting a lap is going to be the McLaren of Adam Lindberg. Will we see any games of his teammate, Bino Bentel? Will we see the slipstream in full effect here? as he goes slowly through the Vale chicane now to get the best run onto the straight. Into Abbey, avoid the bump on the left, full throttle through, and now heavy braking zone. He has got the Alpine of, is that Timber just in front of him? He's hoping that he'll be getting out of the way. Now a big straight. Could Adam Lindberg be getting a tow here? And could he be improving on his time? Into Brooklands, he is half a tenth up. That wouldn't get him very many positions at the moment, and he's lost it. Adam Lindberg's round, so now we're going to switch to Yannick, who was just behind him, who's nearly a tenth up on his time. Into Cops. Full throttle. He was one of the earlier ones on his lap. Harrison just started, looking to retain his pole position, with the likes of Lightning Luke and Bino are there to scupper him as they both start their lap. Yannick comes to the end of his lap as he wants to brake late, down to 6th, through Stowe, clip the apex, and as soon as you touch it, that's when you want to get the throttle on. Heavy braking now into the final chicane, clip the curb. You don't want to hit that sausage on the right because it will send your car wide and invalidate. Good exit, deploy used, and Yannick only improves by a tenth, not enough to gain a position. So now I'm going to switch over to Harrison, who is not improving on his lap, and Bino is, but Bino needs to get 3/10 to improve his position. Now Harrison flat out through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Short left-hander and full throttle. Open DRS wide. He is still not improving. Is there for time for him to find? He is out of battery going into the final section. But he might not need the time. Maybe his 26.5 is enough, as we see Vaxi cross the line in P7. Fierro currently P9, Robin P10 and Adam P12. Harrison to cross the line now. And he improves by 17 thousandths of a second to put him as a 126.499. The hazard time comes P9 in the session, as next we're going to cross the line is Omar. Now does he improve? Will we see the Ferrari round? Is that further sin as he crossed the line and he's crashed out? Bino across the line goes P2, Omar stays in P4. Chocolat is up by 0.3 of a second. He needs a little bit more to be able to gain a position, and now Tizian P8, Lightning Luke goes in P2. That time got by Harrison, was very much needed. Yannick, the last man across the line, doesn't improve, and that will be your order for the British Grand Prix qualifying. TTV Harrison takes his first pole position, followed by Lightning Luke, Bino 95 F1, Omar Herod, the former champion and current title contender, Chocolat with, I think, his best qualifying of the season, and then Vaxi, Tizian, Hazard Time and Fierro round out the top 10. Robin, Yannick, Adam, Timbed and Forever Skin in the bottom 5, not with the qualifying they would have wanted. Some shock names down at the bottom there. Adam Lindberg, first race on F124 in Virtual Racing Project. Would have been nice if he could have repeated his once success in VRP, but struggling with the new game by the looks of it. As we're looking to go on to the formation lap now, I wonder what strategies we will see in place. I wonder what each team is thinking, whether maybe the V-Carbs are going to split strategies or they'll go on the same and work together, as they have two hands to fight with up in the top 4 compared to Harrison and Bino. But it is an all British top 4 in this race at their home Grand Prix, and we are waiting now for the drivers to choose their strategy before lights out for the race.
Right, I hope you enjoyed that.
if you were a driver in this race, what strategy do you reckon you
God
would be
knows.
going
I've never raced here before. Not on this game anyway. And the new layout. What are the guys on tyre wise?
Well, it's a big strategy split.
Mediums for top 5, softs for the next 2, mediums for Tizian, softs for the next 3, medium hard, soft at the back. Yeah.
Seeing Adam Lindberg on hards is something that we've definitely seen before. He was very famous for liking his hard strategy up from the start, sometimes paying off, sometimes an early safety car not quite working out for him.
Something we are very used to seeing, Ferguson MP last.
Yeah, Ferguson, first race on this game, definitely struggling a little bit, but let's hope he can keep it up in consistency and keep close to the field, as Ferguson is his first race since Season 3 Qatar, and prior to that race he did not score points in 11 races, so can Ferguson break into the points today?
I mean,
at his home race.
At one time he had my job, commentating. I commentated on that famous race where Zalba finally scored points, broke his record. Hello Zalba.
How difficult is it to warm the tyres on this game? As we see the drivers absolutely
of an analogy,
weaving.
but I can't. It's very hard. It's
like making a cup of coffee
tires.
with a chocolate kettle.
Yes.
It's just going to melt straight through.
Brundle. Well, there's Harrison on pole. He started P4 and P2 in the first 2 races so far. Both races he was promoted a place up on the grid before the between quali and race. This time, if he was promoted any higher, he'd be disqualified. Lightning Luke beside him. Who will get the better launch? We're yet to see. Obviously. As we wait for the lights to come on. There they go. 3, 4, 5 lights. And they're out. And we're off for round 3 at Silverstone. And who's got the better launch? Harrison's got it by far, and he's already clear out in front at turn 1. And it's Bino going around the outside quite easily of Lightning Luke. So Lightning Luke had the very poor start. Can he make it back up into turn 3? No, not quite. Further back, Herod. And as wide in the background, Vaxi off along with one of the Alpines. Harrison fending off Bino. And there's contact between himself and Lightning Luke, who goes through, and Bino's around. Bino tagged round by, I think, either Herod or Omar. So he's dropped to the back of the field. Yellow flags at the back. The 2 McLarens are there and fighting through. That's one of the Williams. It's Smooth Operator with a brilliant start on the softs, diving through past Omo around the outside. He looks to go, and he completes the move up to P4.
So yeah, a terrible start from the McLarens there. Bino getting caught up in an incident onto the Wellington straight. Adam Lindberg going off at turn 1 after just understeering wide and going through the grass. Forever Sin now around the outside of Timbed through Cops, and he's going for the move on Yannick, but he backs out. A wise old head on those shoulders for Forever Sin.
And Smooth Operators close the gap towards Herald. Those soft tyres working in this early stages of the race. It's Chocolat who's got up to P5 as well on this lap. Got past Omar. Smooth Operator not close enough to make the move. But further back, was there almost contact? I don't know. But Omar's been passed by Vaxi, who's on that soft tyre as well. He's trying to fight it back. Can he go down the inside? He has done it. He's back through up to P6.
And I feel that might have been a warning for Omar as he goes off the track at Stowe in order to keep the position from Vaxi. There was no contact, just very, very close, and Omar planted the throttle a little bit too early and gained the position off the track. But Robin now has gone down the inside of Herod and now into the loop chicane. Chocolat sends it as well. Herod's getting swallowed now by the soft runners as he gets pushed off the track.
Chocolat has damage. I said Smooth Operator a good start. He's up 8 positions already. There's a fight at the front. Can Lightning Luke get any kind of move going on Harrison? Not quite. He's filling the mirrors and making Harrison go defensive. Harrison's had a number of setbacks whilst being in good position so far this season. We'll hope for his sake that this isn't going to be one of them.
He's praying not for a safety car that he is going to be leading, as Omar now on Chocolat down to Cop. Chocolat really struggling with his damage now, and he's got Vaxi all over the back of him, heading into Maggots
car from
and
the background,
Beckett's.
further sin, and he somehow survived any kind of major damage, having gone in backwards.
He does have a severe lack of front right end plate now,
And Chocolat getting eaten up.
Will Freverson's record of 11 races without a point carry on into 12?
At the front, sorry we missed it, Lightning Luke has got past Harrison, who were distracted by a Ferrari in the gravel, and Harrison's been passed, and Smooth Operator now will look to try and get past those two right in front of him. He set the fastest lap.
Chocolat heads into the pit lane with that wing damage. Will we see a move from Harrison, into here? No, he's being sensible. He's keeping the DRS. He knows that DRS will protect him from Robin. He does not want to be wasting that. He's got loads of overtake. Robin with only 20%, draining all of it, down under 10% now. That's not going to be very powerful. And as we see Harrison pull away in the straight line.
I'm almost into the back of Harrison there. Smooth Operator, although being on that soft tyre, is currently in the top 3 positions. He got P9 in the last race, which was his debut, despite having about 15 seconds of penalties. Well, we'll see if he can keep on the track limits this time. Lap 3, and so far, everyone's unscathed there.
Harrison almost pushing Luke through the corner. He got a little bit of the dirty air swoop under his front wing and causing him an understeer, and not to take the optimal line as Robin started to have a look at him. Didn't quite, but now he's got the better run through Chapel, side by side onto the hanger straight. Take it away.
Well, he looked to go for it, but I think just no slipstream there, has lost his momentum a little bit, and Harrison will stay in P2, fighting at the back. The two Saubers swapping positions. Bino's making some ground back up. Hazard time and Timbed just outside the top 10 on those soft tyres, not quite working for those two.
Oh, Bino's gone for it into the club chicane. He's now trying to go around the outside into the final corner. Doesn't quite make the move. That is something I have been seeing from both Kick Saubers. Each lap they have been swapping positions on the hanger straight, trying to keep the cars behind. Fiera Pro in a lofty
He's gone for it again.
P7.
Bino's absolutely sent Yannick, and Yannick's going to fight it back. Little lock up towards turn 4, and round the outside Bino's going to go. He's going to get the DRS as well, and that maybe will be the move done, as Hazard Time looking to go down the inside as well. Backs out just in time and then nearly hits the back of Yannick.
And battle for the lead is getting very close once again. The slipstream pulling Harrison, right up to Luke. But is he getting too close through Cops and losing that bit of downforce that gives him a good run onto the hanger straight? We're close to seeing that now.
We can't really back off
down
anymore.
To 5th.
He's got Smooth Operator right up the back of him.
He is now using his ERS to try and overtake pole position. He doesn't like having Smooth Operator that close to him. To the outside, into Stowe. Can he keep it round? Luke shows him the door. He's given him enough space to stay behind. As Robin now going down the inside. Will there be contact? Not quite. Leaving just enough space. And Harrison does keep the position, and they return to their original order.
I'm shocked we haven't seen cars come to contact yet. It's been so close to the apexes for so many. Timbed's the first car into the pit lane on a legitimate stop, and he has sped in. That soft tyre for him, going no further than 4 laps.
I think something's just happened to Fierro. Either his tyres have died, but Bino sent it and he's got damage. They're both off. Bino with a late move on Fierro. He's got a 3-second time penalty for the move. Will he let... Oh, it's now Adam Lindbergh, that Fierro is battling.
Harrison and Lightning Luke, there's contact between the two, and Harrison sent to a half spin. That's going to cost him a couple positions. I just saw the end of the move, just as Harrison on the inside came to blows with the leader.
There is contact again between the Ferrari and the McLaren, as through Brooklands, a little tap on the inside from Fiera Pro, sending Adam Lindbergh into a spin and losing 7 seconds. Fiera Pro's tyres look like they're absolutely gone in his first race for Ferrari since his move to Alpine.
But at the front, Smooth Operator, for the first time in VRP, is in the lead of the race, getting past Lightning Luke, who had no DRS to fight him back. Herod now finding his way into P3. This is what he does. He may not be the world's best qualifier in the world. I'm not even sure where he qualified, but
qualified P5.
Up into P3 he goes. Herod is Mr. Consistent.
As we see Foreverson about to get lapped now.
Can you describe for us what actually happened between Bino and Fiera Pro as Harrison fighting?
So it was into turn 3. It just looked like Bino was getting impatient behind the soft runner and just sent it. There was a little bit of contact as Fiera Pro turned in quite early, but yeah, complete lack of judgment from Bino. He got damage as Luke takes the lead.
Contact.
Again.
Luke went for the inside move, what Harrison tried, and the contact between the two of them on Smooth Operator's front wing. I think he's got away without any visible damage anyway, but into Cops, Luke going a bit defensive there.
So yeah, both cars were miles off track going through turn 3. After just a late send from Bino causing him to have wing damage, and then as he come back on, Fiera Pro in a fight with Adam Lindberg goes down his inside into Brooklands and just completely misjudges it and causes that collision. We'll always see that in the stewards room later on, but now we're seeing a move for the lead, or 2 moves.
Well, Smooth Operator around the outside of Luke and at the same position at the same piece of track. Smooth Operator back into the lead, and the move at the back. Harrison trying to get through on Herod. Can't quite do that up the inside. He's now got Omar and Vax here right on the back of this battle. For some, the softs have lasted. For some, the soft has not.
Other drivers like Fiera Pro have killed his tyres out from that recent spin. Robin, however, even though he has been pushing, as we see Harrison with a late lunge on Herod, overtaking into P3, and now he's back in the position of the top 3 that he wanted to be in. Can he fight for the win now? As Robin nursing his tyres, but with strong pace as well. How long will they last compared to the mediums? They should last around 10 laps, and then around 16 on the mediums, I believe, whereas the medium runners will be looking to go long, and then onto the softs at the end of the race.
Well, eyes on Vaxi at the moment. He's seeming to have great momentum all over the back of Omar at the minute. I'm sure there'll be a move coming soon if he doesn't quite get stuck in some sort of DRS kind of train effect here. But he's all the way on the back of Omar, almost pushing through the corner. Staten P6, his best ever finish was P6 in Season 2, Brazil, his debut. He hasn't ever matched it since. He's in a pretty good position to try and do that here.
And now we see the move again from Lightning Luke. It's going to be an easy one, this one, with DRS. Robin does try and fight it, but he just knows that he has to slot in behind there. Don't lose too much time, don't use too much of his tyres, because he's going to be going off now. Was he off track there? Potentially for a warning. Harrison getting very, very close.
One is... And Harrison is going to get past because of it.
Hamilton, Harrison, sorry, into the Hamilton straight, I was meant to say.
You have messed up the line. You had the perfect stoppage.
Break the DRS, so Robin could have a go back at Harrison, and this could be Luke's chance to break free unless they work together
Herod
now.
around the outside, Smooth Operator defends it very well. P3 is his for now, but he's lost 2 positions in just 1 lap. These leaders looking to be the superior ones. They have run away from the 2 Saubers as Herald around the outside of Smooth Operator. Maybe the softs are starting to fall apart as he's going backwards through the field, having to be offline and having another moment just there. That's going to give Herald all he needs to get by. And now into Cops, he's in an awkward position. He's just going to try and bum drop Harrison on the run to Cops. He doesn't want to make the move. He's gone for the risky shot there. This is IndyCar at this stage, the way the cars are following each other and pushing each other along the corners. Lightning Luke has absolutely ran off.
And Omar is in a very good position now. His tyres are fresh, he's got 100% battery. Will he use it? He's off to his best start of the season in Virtual Racing Project, and he nearly equalled his best qualifying of P3. Harold goes past Harrison.
Smooth Operators dived it down on Harrison. I don't think he's going to get that move. There's more contact between the 2 and into the braking zone. Will they survive? Vaxi down the inside of Omar. Isn't able to complete the move, and Smooth Operators had more contact. Harrison's then run wide, and Omar's trying to squeeze his way through. There's now a 4-pack in a space of track that only fits 2 cars. It's Harrison ahead of Omar, ahead of Vaxi, ahead of Smooth Operator. Smooth Operator's kind of got to keep his head here and just realise that even P6 of being a part of this pack is still good for his race. He maybe needs to lay off the fighting as hard as he is, because he's struggling for grip. I'm sure his tyres are overheated now.
Yeah, and off in the background, as we saw these moves happening, Omar overtaking 4P3 to get into the podium position. But off in the background, Forever Sin spinning through Chapel, the final part of the Maggots Beckett section. Chocolat with the penalty now, Bino with the fastest lap. And something I wanted to pick up on, this little battle for P7, 2 Kick Saubers and a Williams. It's going to be very difficult for Hazard, isn't it? He's got to fight 2 people and he's on the worn soft tyre now. Coming off the back of his best P4 finish in Virtual Racing Project at the last race in Austria. Looking to score more points as he no longer wants the name of the P11 merchant, does he?
No, he does not, yeah. Well, he worked very well together with Yannick to try get that result, and they're right next to each other on track. With Yannick's teammate as Harrison down the inside of Omar. Gets the move done, or does he? Because Omar's not giving up. Smooth Operator dives into the pit lane, so maybe slightly taking my advice. Harrison looked up and went deep, and Omar's going to go around the outside and complete that move. Vaxi, the car behind him, the one on the soft tyre from this pack, who stays out the longest. Those Saubers are beginning to catch up.
Vaxi really struggling through the final corners there. It looked like his tyres just slid every time he tried putting the throttle on. Maybe it's time for him to pit and respond to the undercut of Robin. Now, where will Robin come out? Will he come out in free air? It looks like he will, unless Bino has anything to say about that. Obviously, Bino on the 2-stop rate strategy, as I don't think those mediums are going to last anywhere near the end of the race. It's going to be tight on pit exit, but it looks like Robin's going to keep it.
Robin in P10, smooth Operator. Bino in P11 on those mediums, but 4 laps older. We'll see if he can try and make any gains on that Williams reserve as the fighting continues at the front. Harrison has been in every battle we've watched so far, it feels like. Yannick, Tizian and Hazard Time not giving up behind them either. They've been at it all race long. It's a race that you just can't seem to take your eye off, not for one moment.
Hazard Time has been very smart with this, as we're going to see Harrison swap over with Omar. Vaxi's going to go for it, but not quite get the position.
Will he
but
pick
Harrison,
that? Yes.
He will. Hazard Time is being very smart with this, as we see Forever Sin once again spinning around, as he has 87%. It's much better with the 50% of the Kick Saubers for his battery usage. He's just nursing these tyres, trying to take them as long as possible to try and get on the mediums as late as possible to try and get the best use out of them. As long as he sticks in this pack, he's probably going to be happy. He's not going to be hoping to get much more, and he's got a massive gap behind him. But yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be burning his battery at some point to try and make some battles.
Forever Sin, it's good to see he picked up where he left off. One of the British drivers at the home race, 6 of them on the grids today. One of them leading the race, Lightning Luke, 2.5 seconds out front now. Lightning Luke, fun fact, is the only driver in VRP history to have ever won their technically full home Grand Prix. Lewis did win this race, but he's Scottish, and this is in England, so...
And that certainly does not count where I'm from. Omar, just about sticking in DRS of Harrison. Harrison now closing the gap on Herod, so will we see a battle for the lead once again? Herod with barely any ERS, so Harrison and Herod may be going to work together to try and catch Lightning Luke.
As there was Yannick getting past Tizian, his teammate. These two just slipstreaming each other along. Has a time now diving into the pit lane. He used significantly more ERS that lap, and he slowed down very early.
And he doesn't know whether... He went for the old pit lane. Forever Sin has finally crashed, and that could help Hazard Time drastically. The safety car is out. Are we going to see everyone dive in for hards or softs? I think from here, I'd go soft. It's only going to be 12 laps, I'd say, after the safety car has come back in. Yeah. If you think the
If you're
safety
on
car's going to come in
mediums, you
around
have to
lap
go on to
15,
softs, yes.
yeah, hards would just be too slow. Adam Lindbergh in a perfect position
Adam
here.
Lindbergh can
He's
absolutely
said,
dive onto the mediums and be a real threat from here now. Hazard time onto the
as Hazard Time has
mediums.
jumped his teammate and Vaxi.
Well, Hazard time onto the mediums. Vaxi's ahead of him. Vaxi Hazard time smooth operator in a brilliant position here. We'll see where they come out. Well, we'll see where the others come out in context to them guys. But if they're anywhere near the top 5, which they should be, they're in a brilliant position in the long term of this race to be within the fight for the higher ends of the points.
This is going to hurt Tizian and Yannick now. However, their team game was working against Hazard Time, but the man who sits P5 in the standings is going to be poorly affected by this double stack, coming off of his best finish of a podium in Austria. Oh, I think I'm getting the wrong way around actually. Sorry, Yannick coming off the back of his podium in Austria isn't going to be the one affected. It's going to be Tizian, the one that's affected, as we see him backing up. He's got no cars behind him. He should only lose the position to Hazard Time.
Yannick's podium off of him?
No, I tried saying that Tizian got the podium, but I meant Yannick. As they do go onto the soft tyres.
P6 or P7. Very well there on debut. So softs for the top 3. Omar following suit. Yannick, you'd expect so. Tizian having to wait for his teammate to be serviced before he can. Adam Lindbergh in as well. I'll be intrigued to see what he has gone for the mediums. Brilliant for Adam Lindbergh here. He's walked into a very helpful strategy. Vaxi's going to come out just behind Yannick. So P6 for Vaxi. Smooth Operator's going to be P8 behind Hazard Time, who's P7. So the guys who were able to pit just before the safety car came out will be 6, 7 and 8, all holding hands together.
And now we can see Tizian has lost that position to the William drivers, but he is on the fresh soft tyres. Will he gain early on in the stint? Might struggle at the end of the race, but for now he is looking to gain as much time as possible and use the tyres for when they are good. Bino, this has really saved his race, even with his penalty, back up into the field now because of the safety car.
2 Alpines at the back, haven't really mentioned them since the race start, but they get the opportunity now to catch the field.
Bean and Timbed, also got the opportunity to serve his 10-second penalty. That is why he is so far off anybody else. He was serving his penalty in the pit lane. It's a really interesting one here now. Will the drivers be... This might have saved some of them for their fuel game, but it might have hurt some of them if they had the perfect amount of fuel to finish the race, because now they're going to be driving around with either perfect cars or very heavy cars, and those who are just slightly underfueled will be at the advantage, not by much, but it's going to be enough to feel the weight of the car and how far you can chuck it into each corner.
Of course, see who can actually fire their tyres up in a more effective way, and the mediums are going to feel that pain at the start, especially those who have been on them for a few extra laps, but those on the softs will see who can fire them up. Try not to do a Harrison. I'm sorry, Harrison, that you are now being coined as doing a Harrison. We'll see if Luke can survive that kind of curse.
As Luke is in the prime position for the safety car restart, he can determine the pace once the safety car goes into the pit lane. He can warm up his tyres no matter how much he wants. He can go quick, he can go slow. Will he go early, will he go late? I think if he wants to go early, it might catch one off. Just depends how slow he's going to go after the safety car departs the field and reaches that safety car line. So
where
now for green
do
flag
you
racing.
think he'll go, early or late?
I think at this track it's very beneficial to go quite early due to the last chicane, but because you don't want to be going midway through the chicane, because we saw what happens to Harrison when you try and go through a corner. This chicane is very hard on traction, it's very undulating, there's large bumps, there's big curbs. You don't want to be going through there. If you leave it too late after the chicane, you'll be close up to the car behind you and they'll have a long slipstream, right to turn 3.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Absolutely, we see it a lot in real F1. Yannick again, big gainer on the grid, up to P5. Safety car is in this lap. So as we just discussed, will Luke go early? Will he go late? Will he go left or will he go right? I'd hope by the time he gets to turn 1 he'd go right, but he kind of messed up his start.
So as we can see, he's in neutral, burning his fuel. He's trying to go as slow as possible to let the safety car break that gap. If I was him, I'd go even slower and try and bolt it out of Stowe on the run into the club chicane. The safety car is in. When will he go?
Well, he's waiting. Maybe he'll go on the apex of the chicane, but that might be a bit obvious. He's waiting still. And I think he has now finally gone. It's hard to tell. It's a slow corner. Herod knew exactly what was coming. Herod read him like a book. He hasn't dropped him, but Herod now going in. Maybe thinking when he gets down the Wellington straight, he's got half a chance at a move. Though knowing Herod, he'll probably keep it sensible and wait to the end of the race. Further back, smooth operator. I think it's actually smooth operator. Got past, has a time there. As a side by side, the McLaren's over the curve. It's Bino involved again with Fiero Pro. More contact. Chocolade's going to squeeze his way up down the inside. Further contact. Bino off the road and nearly collecting Fiero Pro. In the meantime, we've seen a Ferrari off in that runoff area and ending disastrously before. Herod, though, sticking behind Lightning Luke, who keeps the lead of this race. Harrison in P3, Omar in P4, and Yannick in P5. Those guys up 3rd, 4th, looking for their first podium. Yannick has got the taste of a first podium, is on looking for yet another.
As we know, DRS will be enabled next lap, so this straight Luke's saving because he knows that he's going to be safe from Herod unless Herod drains all of his battery, but that's very uncharacteristic of the Mercedes driver. Fiero Pro and Bino, 3rd time this race. Something happening between the two drivers. It seems like there's something personal. Bino's going to go for it here.
He's sent it down the inside. I think there's bad blood between Bino and the Spaniard in the Ferrari. And Bino maybe will get the position this time. He will. Through he goes. Luke with the fastest lap, quickly taken by Vaxi on the medium tyre. Here we go. The mediums are going to be strong.
The Spaniard in the red prancing horse compared to the Brit in the McLaren. We've seen this before back in 2012, obviously not for P13 in the race.
The way Ferrari's going, it might be P13 soon. Lightning Luke slightly, I don't know if he was weaving so much as just maybe drifting slightly over, but everyone on the field following him through his line. They won that slipstream because around here DRS trains can be so easy to get stuck in. Already we're seeing the top 6 breakaway again.
And something I've noticed in this top 6 is that Yannick and Harrison burning a lot of their battery in order just to keep up Omar, Herod and Lightning Luke, all with a healthy amount. But they know how important DRS is. If Vaxi loses it or if Yannick loses it, it's their race done. They've got to keep in and they've got to protect themselves from the car behind and maybe attack the car ahead as well.
Fiero Pro with a 3-second time penalty, his first one of the race. Dropped at the back of the grid now, probably maybe pushing that bit harder, maybe with a bit seeing red, given the battles he's had so far in this race. Chocolade's managed to get himself up into the top 10, albeit with a penalty. We saw him way off track on the restart, but he's recovered that to get past Adam Lindbergh. Unfortunately, there is now a bit of a gap until the next car. Smooth operator having had the best restart in the world.
And Fiero Pro certainly seeing red all around him with his new move to Ferrari from the Alpine. Maybe not emotionally, but definitely physically, as his gloves, his car, maybe his helmet has got a bit of red on it now. Herod all over the back of Lightning Luke, saving his ERS, has a time, and Robin working together to break away from Tizian It's now the Kick Sauber's time to be behind the Williams, as we've seen Bino disconnect from the session. I'll send him an invite.
Herod all over the back, once again, just over a tenth behind Lightning Luke going through Cops. Not quite bump drafting him this time, but following him through, and it's going to be hard for him not to make an overtake unless he does back off slightly now. And will Lightning Luke use any ERS? No, he doesn't. Herod is going to pull alongside here, and I think he's going to be forced to make the move whether he wants to or not. Through goes Herod, and he's up into the race lead for I think the first time this race. He'll lead a lap. Harrison seeing if anything goes wrong between these two, but it won't. Slight lock up from the Haas going into the Vale chicane. It's Herod leading the lap from Luke, Harrison, Omar, Yannick, Vaxi, VCarb looking so strong all season long so far, and yet again they're on for another joint top 5 finish.
And Yannick just creeping into that top 5 as well. Not been mentioned a lot at the start of the race, but now towards the latter stages he is in a prime position to get a nice haul of points for that Kick Sauber team. And Luke burning to get past Herod. It looks like there's some games going on between the two up front. Herod lifting down the straight to let Luke ahead of him. Maybe he wants to sit behind, maybe they were just trying to get away from Harrison, who knows, as the Haas driver is very much pushing, still with 40% less battery than any other driver around him.
Well, these two were the two of the three who were involved in the big battle for the race win at Austria, and they used to work together very well throughout that, so we're starting to see it once again, albeit with a bigger top 3. It's now a top 6, so we're starting to drop Yannick a little bit, who's still got DRS, so he's still there. Chocolada's caught the back of Tizian, and you know what, we might see a move at the back there.
But Tizian's going to go for him, and has a time. It's 3 wide.
Oh,
there's contact. There's a crash. Has a time pinched in the middle. Nothing he can do. Tizian coming across from the right hand side. Chocolade picking up the pieces on the left. Adam Lindberg getting 2 positions into P9 on his strategy. He is still struggling a little bit on those tyres. Now, my question is when will Vaxi come into play for the top 5 on those medium tyres? Will they come better towards the end of the race, or will they be equally worn since they are 2 laps older?
Maybe the softs with the lower fuel load might not wear as quick, not quite bringing the mediums into it as much as they did on stint 1, but if Vaxi wants to do anything, it's quite obvious to say, but he's got to clear Yannick and start making his way up the field. But when they all have DRS, it's hard to make any kind of advantage.
Robin. Down the inside into Luffield, around the outside of Brooklands, pinned to the floor, and he's gained the position. However, he does have that 3-second penalty, so if Robin and Adam Lindberg can stick within it, they will keep so the operator's going to go
for it again at Cops. Oh, he's backed out. Maybe quite smart there. I thought he's going to stick his nose in at Cops. We might have seen an email being sent from Alpine to Williams.
But now we're seeing Harrison a lot closer to Herod and Lightning Luke. He is burning, but the 2 ahead of him, they know what they're doing to keep him behind. They know that he's got a lot of pace, especially from qualifying. As Tizian with the move on has a time. Will they do games now to catch the top 2 ahead of them? Robin and Chocolade banging wheels through Stowe. Now into the final corner. Chocolade on the inside. Robin now gets the inside. There's contact. They bump over the curbs. Chocolade keeps the position. A bit of banging, bit of Rubbins racing, but he keeps it for now. Vaxi now with a great run on Yannick. Doesn't quite go for it as the door shut into the braking zone.
Where's your money going, top 3 wise, at this point of the race? 7 laps to go.
I'm saying that Herod is going to use his experience and use his knowledge to get this win late on, but he's not going to make an overtake in the last 2 laps. He's going to wait and wait and wait, and then finally when the penultimate lap comes, that's when he's going to burn, and then he's going to try and get away from Lightning Luke. But Harrison, I don't think he'll get second. I think Lightning Luke will just go out, cover him off, and I think Luke will drop down to P2. But it's all open here. I've seen several different lines through the loop from Harrison as he keeps trying to set up moves. As once again we're seeing a different one. Taking a wider line now, tight on the inside, and he's going to absolutely burn it. He's got a good run on Herod, and even Maybe Lightning Luke. Harold's going for it on Luke. Harrison's going to go for it on Luke. Down the inside into Stowe. Braking late. He's got to get past here. It's essential for his race. He pushes Luke off. Will Luke have to see the position as he's gone off track? Or was he forced off? Down the inside from Luke. Harrison still not quite being able to keep the position. And he still hasn't managed.
And Vaxi got the move done.
Into top 3.
Vaxi got the move done on Yannick. 2 moves in the same shot almost there. Yannick now losing the position to Vaxi and the DRS. Vaxi's now got to catch back up to the field and try to drop Yannick from his DRS to not kind of swap positions again as Omar goes deep, loses a bit of time. A bit of racing at the front, we haven't seen that for a few laps. It's been a bit coordinated till then.
It looks like Harold is trying to keep this lead now as he uses a bit of overtake into Luffield or Brooklands. I think I've swapped over which corner name is
that
which.
Every
lap so far. Yep, I think I got it right most of the time, so I literally sat there in 2012. However, Harrison does need to keep what he was doing last lap. He just needs that little bit more precision, maybe not go as wide into Stowe and just get the throttle on earlier and then brake late. You've got to brake late. As long as you're there, they have to give you room. So just commit to it. You have to be in P2 in this race, especially with 2 drivers like Harold and Lightning Luke ahead of you, as they are going to be working together. They do know how each other play. They do respect each other in that style. Both saving now. Harrison maybe should take a ticket out of their book and save some. However, Harold is the one lowest on ERS now, going into the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix.
Vax nearly caught the back of this field for a bit of DRS, so he's doing a good job pace-wise on those medium tyres. Tizian getting past Smooth Operator at the lower ends of the points, but they swap positions back again. This is very much an interesting tactical fight in many ways. It's the former champion versus the reigning champion in the form of Lightning Luke and Harold respectively. Harrison looking to be a bit more consistent on this stint. Just keeping
with the aspiring champion of Harrison just behind, out the top 4. 3 of them, I believe, have won a championship. Omar winning the Constructors with Gustav in Alpha Tauri, was it?
That was Tim Rolfe.
Is that correct? Is incorrect.
Omar is quite the opposite. In 3 of the 4 seasons, he's finished last, I think, or 2 of the 4 anyway. He had a good record.
We are seeing immense consistency from the VCARB team here, and they might have been premature, but they do look like they are going to be heading straight for the championship. Harrison setting up the move on Harold again, burning all his ERS. Harold now going down into 10%. He's looking for the move on Lightning Luke. He lifts off. Now Harrison does have the advantage, but he's going to have to get close onto the hangar straight. He's going to need to be able to use that advantage. Is he going to go for it into the Vale chicane? Not quite. Harold saving his battery. Very close to the rear of that Ineos logo on the Mercedes.
In fact, he had a much worse lap that time. I think maybe he was battling with Yannick a bit. He's now 2.5 seconds back from this top 4 pack, so they've formed a little bubble of their own. There's bubbles all over the field. Everyone's joined by at least someone, with a huge gap to those ahead.
I've said my predictions. Now who do you think is going to be the race winner? And the rest of the top 3.
I think it could be absolutely anyone, but in true league racing fashion, Harrison's going to come through to win it when no one thought. There may be a bit of drama at the end, who knows. They worked together so well throughout the whole race, Harold and Luke, but maybe at the end when it gets a bit manic and everything is just truly on the line, maybe we'll see a bit of what we saw in Austria, just between a different driver and Harold.
How harsh do you reckon the top 3 have been on their tyres compared to Omar, who hasn't got in a battle once? He's just been sat there, conserving, protecting. Could he be a shout for this race?
Sitting in the dirt, yeah, maybe even just struggling to even keep up. He may have been pushing that hard just to keep up, which may be why he wasn't involved. It could be a cause of a lot of stress as Harold goes through. I think Harold's the one who's probably best on his tyres, to be honest. Luke, though, also.
Harrison sees an opportunity here, as there's a spin in the background. Harrison goes down the inside of Club. Doesn't quite get the position once again. He just needs to be a bit braver on those brakes. Show him that he's there, use his muscle. But again, Lightning Luke keeping the position. but Harrison using his ERS here. Will he go for it into turn 3? Not quite. However, he's put Luke on a... He's gone for it into the loop.
Room
Luke
left.
keeps it once again.
Room left.
And now we're going to
Costs them
see
a bit of
Omar
time.
absolutely pushing. Lightning Luke gives his teammate a toe. Oh, there's contact on the straight.
Will banging. He's still got his nose down the inside. Can he make that move through on left field? He's had a half spin, but he's kept it. And you still have DRS when we get through to the hanger straight. The top 4 changes and Omar is into a podium position for the first time in VRP. Yannick and Vaxi swap positions yet again. Adam Lindberg's up to P7. He's yet again having a great first race at Silverstone as a reserve.
Now, a benefactor from this battling between Luke and Harrison is Harold. He's managed to save a bit of ERS. Not a lot compared to Luke, as Luke is going to overtake him now. Is Omar going to burn to try and get ahead as well? No, he's not. But Luke cuts back aggressively, showing he's here to fight, and he's going to try his best to win this race. Harrison maybe out of contention. He's hit Omar into the rail chicane, just pushing him through. Now into club. Omar saving, Harrison pushing. Will we see a move into Abbey?
It'll be a bold one, but he does back out of that one. He's been bold in those last 2 laps, Harrison. He's going to go around the outside, does he? No. Just a bit too far back, not with enough momentum. Try and keep that going, and at this stage just try and pick up the pieces for a podium. Lightning and Luke have been working together with Harold. Maybe at this stage he'll be thinking, how can he help Omar? The two have a good relationship as teammates. But Lightning Luke, of course, also wanting to win the British Grand Prix for the 2nd time. And it would be, of course, I've said before, he's the only man to ever win a true home Grand Prix in VRP. He's doubling that.
And
no one else has even done once.
Oh, there's 3 wide down in P9. Robin keeping the position. Timbed, sorry.
Well, Hazardtime and Tizian have had errors of their own in this race. They've been flying all race long, and Timbed has now come up and taken the position. He's never scored points in VRP. There's, a dive from Tizian at Cops. He's off the track, no contact made. Timbed trying to run away with P9 at the front. Herod can't quite make the move, so they're going to go down to the last lap. They're both saving ERS for it. Omar and Harrison staying in position. Omar went a bit defensive. Harrison forced to look round the outside, couldn't make any move there. There's going to be a battle on the straight again. P9, they're 3 wide again. Tizian's caught back up and he's had to back out before he gets forced into a full spin. Timbed's got a penalty.
And will Timbed's points drought carry on at this race? The final
Harrison's
lap
made
now.
a mistake.
Harrison has dropped back. It's the top 3. The 3 horsemen of this race. Harrison, could his desperation be his kryptonite? Harold saving everything. He's got a lot of ERS, but so does Luke. They're both going to be using every last drop of energy they have onto the hanger straight, through the left field. Now, setting up the move is Harold, trying to keep as close as possible to Lightning Luke. Now what's going to happen? Through Magus Beckett's and onto the hanger straight.
He's going to have the DRS, he's going to have one last chance at getting by when they get to Cots and the Vale chicane. Who will be the car ahead? I'm sure they'll be side by side, to be honest, actually, but who will be the one who crosses that line ahead? It could be either one of them, as Harold nearly has a moment. They've dropped the 2 behind them. It's a 1v1 battle. Maybe what we were robbed of at Austria between these 2. Harold to the outside. Luke gives him space. Luke can't make any kind of dive, or can he? At the late part of Stowe, he gets back alongside. Harold is going to have the inside. Round the outside goes Luke. Has he got the move done? He blocks Harold off, and through the last corner, Luke's going to come home to win the British Grand Prix in front of the home fans. 2 in a row, Lightning Luke leads the championship with some clear daylight. Harold in P2, Omar with his first podium in Virtua Racing Projects. It's finally come for him after 37 races in the series, the most experienced driver out there. P3, Harrison P4, his best result yet. He'll be gutted he missed the podium. Vaxi gets his best ever result, P5, Yannick 6, Adam Lindberg rescues a P7 from McLaren and himself. Chocolat in P8, his first points. the reserve in the Alpine, and it's Hazard Time, smooth operator, the two Williams rounding out the points. Hazard Time continuing a point streak. Timbed and Tizian I saw got on an incident on the last lap and they costed each other any chance at the points at the end. Smooth operator. We saw him fighting for the win at one point. P10.
And Vaxi making that move on Yannick on the final lap, doing what his teammate couldn't do for the lead. Do you think maybe Herald was a bit too respectful to Lightning Luke into that final chicane? Could he have asserted his dominance a little bit more? I feel like he was ahead quite far on the hanger straight. Could he have commanded that corner to prevent Luke from getting a good run? Good respect shown, but could he need to get his elbows out more if he is going to want to take the championship to Lightning Luke?
I think Luke just was way more aggressive and almost indefensible the way he committed to that outside line, and I think I'm not sure Harold saw it coming. Maybe Harold had half a mind of flashbacks of what happened in Austria and just kind of wanted to consolidate a good points finish there. But Luke definitely in a strong position. RB absolutely in a strong position, once again outscoring anyone in the championship. Harrison, the pole sitter, P4, I'm sure there'll be positives to take from that, despite losing out on a podium towards the end. Fastest that went to Harold, so he didn't completely lose so many points to Luke there.
And a very, very composed drive from the top two. Their experience clearly showing. Do you think that's what quite gave them the edge over Harrison in this race? Just knowing when the battling was necessary and when the desperation was needed, whereas Harrison almost seemed to want to get into that P2 so much that it affected him later down the line, that it ended up Omar getting through and him losing out on that podium position.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You saw so many fighting in that lead pack throughout the race, but at the end of the day it was the experienced trio who came out on top when some of those more rookie like figures kind of dropped away as the race went on. Final thoughts on that race? Driver of the day?
Driver of the day, I'm going to give it to... It's got to be Lightning Luke, hasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
With a very strong race. He was always there, he was always fighting. Harrison, another contender. I know he fell back through the order, but he also had a very strong race, and we can't discredit that because of how well he did drive, and especially as it's not usual seeing him up there. So I think a very special mention to Harrison, but we're used to Harold being there. That's why I haven't mentioned him. But yeah,
and Yannick
is my driver of the day.
Yannick and Vaxi gaining several positions were shouts that yeah, great race. Would you about to say something final there?
Oh, I was going to say I could name every driver. I think it was a very good race, but also one more to shout out is just Adam Lindberg. He didn't have the pace, fair enough to him. He's not raced on this game before in Virtual Racing Project, but he just knew where to be. He knew what strategy to do, and just using his experience and using his brain power to be able to avoid collisions, stay out of things, and just bring his car to a points finish without getting in too much trouble is a very impressive thing to do, especially in league racing.
Absolutely. So next race, Belgium, round 4, the championship heating up with every round we go. I'm probably once again going to see a season finale showdown. We'll see how the championship twists when we get to Belgium this time next week. Until then, we will see you guys.